All right, welcome to your connector briefing. If you're new to the Identity Security Cloud environment, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to get you up to speed on one of the most critical components you'll be working with, the connector. We'll break down its anatomy and exactly what it's built to do. So here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick orientation, then look at how sources and connectors work together. After that, we'll dissect the connector itself, see how a static plan turns into real action, and wrap up with the connector's main job. Okay, first up, let's get you briefed. The whole point here is just to get you oriented and feeling comfortable with the core pieces you'll see in this environment. Pretty simple. Now moving on. Before we can really tear apart a connector's anatomy, we gotta understand the two most fundamental building blocks you're going to hear about all the time: sources and connectors. So, what on earth is a source? Well, think of a source as a specific configuration. It's the setup for any target system you want to manage, like Active Directory, a cloud app like Salesforce, or your company's HR database. It basically defines the what and where of what we're connecting to. And that, of course, brings us to the connector. This is the engine. It's the actual technical piece, the interface that does all the heavy lifting. The connector is what really communicates with those systems to read or write user accounts and what they have access to. So if you remember one thing, remember this. Sources communicate with connectors. The source is the configured instance you want to manage, and the connector is the tool it uses to actually talk to that system. That relationship is absolutely key. Perfect. Now that we've got that relationship straight, let's get into the fun stuff, the connector's anatomy. We're going to take a look at its three main parts and, more importantly, figure out where they actually live. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because it's a hybrid setup. Some of the connector components are in the cloud, managed for you, but other pieces run from your own on-premise virtual appliance, or VA. That VA is like a secure bridge, letting the cloud platform talk to your internal systems without ever exposing them to the open internet. And the great news? This whole thing, this entire anatomy, really just breaks down into three main components. That's it, just three. Let's see what they are. Okay, here's the full breakdown. First, you've got the user interface forms. These are just XML configurations that live up in the cloud. It's what you, the admin, actually see and click on when you're setting things up. Second, there's the source configuration template. Also an XML file, also in the cloud. This is like the master instruction manual for that source. Finally, we have the custom connector itself. This is a compiled Java file, a jar package, and this is the piece that gets deployed right onto your on-premise virtual appliance to do the real work. So wait a minute, we've got these XML files in the cloud and a Java application running on a local server. That brings us to our next section. How does a static template become a live, working set of instructions? I mean, that's the big question, right? How does a static XML file sitting in the cloud actually tell a Java application on your own network what it's supposed to do? It sounds a little disconnected, but the way it works is actually pretty clever. The absolute best way to think about it is like a construction project. That source configuration template, the XML file, that's your blueprint. It's a static document, sure, but it has all the detailed plans, every single instruction for the job. Now the connector, that Java jar file in your VA, that's your construction crew. The crew shows up to the site, reads that blueprint, and gets to work, performing the actual physical labor based on those instructions. It's what turns the plan into reality. All right, we know the pieces, we know how they talk to each other, so let's get to our final section, the connector's mission. What is this whole thing actually built to accomplish? What's its purpose? So, the connector really has three primary jobs. First up, account aggregation. This is all about reading data from the target system, pulling in all the existing user accounts and their permissions. Second, account management. This is the day-to-day stuff, creating new accounts, modifying them, deleting them when someone leaves. And third, we have provisioning. This is the flip side of aggregation. This is where the connector writes changes back to the system, like granting someone new access or updating their role. And that's it. That's the full tour, from the basic concepts to the technical anatomy and the core mission of the connector. You've got the architectural foundation now, so the only question left is, what system are you going to connect to first?